It's week 8 of Dana White's Contender series. And folks, we've got an interesting one here because we've got a couple of recycled guys. Both of these fellas were supposed to be earlier in this season. Visa issues have taken them out. So who knows if this is even happening because both of them had visa troubles prior and now they're booked again. So hopefully their visa is under control. Hopefully everything's smooth and we get this fight. There are 6 fights scheduled for this week at this current point in time when I'm recording this. So I think the UFC is kind of planning on one of them pulling out, or not maybe necessarily this fight, but somebody having some visa troubles because that's been the story of this season. When we look at this one here, though, like I said, 2 guys that were scheduled earlier on in the season at 185 pounds. We have Vitor Costa, and be careful, guys, because a slip of a tongue here could turn into something tragic. We have Damian Pinas. Yes, Pinas is how you say that. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights is Pinas. He is 7-1 on the career. On the other side, Vitor Costa is 8-1 on the career, but 5-0 in the last 5 fights. When we look at these guys here, there's some stuff to like on both sides, and there's a few flaws on both sides. So we're going to have to try to weigh that, and I can see a clear path for both of these fellas. When I break this down, for Pinas, he is a good striker. Slipped up there. He's a good striker with plenty of power, long straight punches, and he picks his shots well. This is his path to victory. Landing those long power shots that he has, especially if he finds that opening, which I think he can do, that's his path, right? Grappling, it's okay. It's decent. It's very rudimentary, but he gets the job done with a lot of stuff. He has a few things he does really well, and then some things that are just not so good. Like his takedown defense against upper body takedowns. It's good. If you got to try to get in there and like clinch up with him, go for that. He is really good at just getting a whizzer and just cranking them suckers and making them struggle. But if you get down on his legs with those lower body takedowns, he has no defense for it. He's crumbling, right? But he does work to get back up, and he does have a few basic sweeps in the arsenal. I don't think that they're going to be a factor here. I think Costa's grappling is good enough that he's not falling for those type of things. I think he's a high enough level for that. But at the same time, he does have him in the arsenal. And if nothing else, you can try those to get your opponent thinking about that, and then you go for something else. Either way, I do think that if his best path is to keep this on the feet. Now, when we look at Costa, he's probably going to want to keep this on the feet as well, like just by the way he fights. But I think his best path would be to try to grapple here because I do think that he does have a grappling advantage. But let's talk about the striking. Dude's a good striker, right? He does a good job of coming forward, throwing a ton of volume. He's got that weird like herky-jerky style. And he also couples that with a slip and counter style. That herky-jerky style goes well with that. We see a lot of guys like Jack Hermanson being known for that style, right? But when we talk about the slip and counter, what that means is he tries to get out of the way of a punch, let it sail just over the shoulder, just past the head, and then snap right back with a shot of his own. That is dangerous. Why? Well, because you are trying to make them miss by an inch or so, just so you can snap back quickly and start landing your shots as you're coming in. So you're kind of coming in and then boom, let that punch sail right by. Pop, you're coming back with your own shot. That's a really tough style to do at a high level unless you are gosh darn good at it. He's pretty good at it, but he's not great at it. And that means a guy with this kind of power could absolutely drop him. However, if he doesn't do that, Costa's going to be winning the minutes. Costa is willing to brawl, which can be a problem, but I think a brawl favors him because he doesn't want to be at range where he can eat these long, powerful shots from Pinas. I think in a brawl, sure, he's getting hit, but it's not with the big shots that are going to put him out. In there, he can do what he needs to do in just like a wild brawl. His striking defense is not good, but he is pretty tough. He is pretty durable. At least he's shown that thus far, and he will be putting up the numbers most likely over Pinas. In the grappling, he will mix in takedowns to keep his opponents honest, but it's not usually his primary game plan. There's a lot to like about his grappling. He has also got a really good guillotine. Could it work here? Sure, but I don't know that that's the path for him. I think his path is probably going to be try to put up volume and numbers and just overwhelm Pinas. But he will mix in takedowns sometimes. And if he does that here, I think he can win minutes that way as well. For me, this fight comes down to this. Do I think that it's going to be the guy who is going to be winning most of the fight, or do I think he's just going to get clipped and dropped by Pinas, who has the ability to do that? Well, I can't, in good faith, pick this fight thinking that I'm just kind of hoping that he catches him. Sure, I understand. Like if the odds are good enough, maybe from a betting perspective, that's something you do, or whatever, or you play him by knockout. But I have to take Costa for the fact that I think he's going to be winning most of the fight. So I have to go with that. But that doesn't mean that you sell out for it, right? So we're taking Costa. Who knows if these guys can get their visas figured out? But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this made sense? If it didn't, tell me why I'm dumb. Had a lot of people telling me that last week because of Barbier. But Who's dumb? Who's dumb? Either way, like this video on your way out and check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. They should all be there, right? And if they're not, it's because that one fell out. But either way, I'll see you there. Take care.